Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the winter campaign in Arkham Horror, the card game. We're all set for the third scenario of the Drowned City campaign as we are looking at the Court of the Ancients today. Without any further ado, let's jump right into the story. Checking the campaign log, we headed east. So that sends us to Court of the Ancients 2. You land onto the top floor of the towering nave. Twisting stairs and catwalks circle the sprawling structure, revealing more levels below. The walls around you are covered in glowing alien glyphs, hundreds of thousands of symbols covering every surface. You wonder if the Great Archive might hold anything valuable. Watch yourself. We're not the first ones here, says Ruby. The jewel thief is bent over a prone human body lying in a fresh pool of blood. You're struck by their colorful patchwork cloak. A deep, rumbling roar reverberates through the chamber. Ruby's expression turns grave. If we're going to find anything of value, we'd better act quickly. Add a rune token to the cast bag for the remainder of the campaign, which I've done. If any investigator has plumbed the depths, they resolve their story to the right, and as we can see once we tab over into TTS, Lucius does have plumbed the depths, so Lucius will be facing this story. Read only if you have the Plumb the Depths task. You can't help but marvel at the austere grandeur of the ancient structure. Was this an ancient palace? A library? A place of worship? The intricate murals on the walls are a blend of pictograph and alien writing, depicting an ancient migration across the stars. The glyphs glow with a flickering green light, chronicling the unknowable histories, ancient secrets hidden from mankind. One image, a nightmarescape of oceanic horrors and sunken cities, catches your attention. You press the eye of a particularly disturbing creature and feel a rush of ancient memories. Thoughts and feelings of an alien being, images of the Stygian depths of some distant planet, overwhelm your consciousness. The memories give way to clearer, more defined facts, dates, a history recorded by a prehistoric civilization. You feel yourself begin to slip away. As though your consciousness were being drawn through a sieve. There is much more you could learn, but should you, we decide that either we look away or we seek the truth. And I think Lucian here is going to... he is going to seek the truth. Mark 2 progress under Plumb the Depths in your campaign log, and suffer a mental trauma. Each investigator begins the next scenario with one fewer card in their opening hand. So I've given Lucius his mental trauma, and we're going to be beginning the scenario with one fewer card. So that'll send us over to setup, which TTS is beautiful about having done that for us already. So everything is done here, which means we are starting at the twisting catwalks. So let's take a look at what's here. The overcast sky can be seen through holes in the ceiling above, casting dim light and dark shadows on the interlacing stone catwalks that make up the highest floor of this side of the tower. That will flip into Shroud of 3, 2 clues. Forced. After an enemy at twisting catwalks deals damage and or horror to you, choose and discard one card from your hand. As a fast action, after you defeat an enemy at this location, discard the top X cards of the encounter deck, where X is that enemy's printed health. Draw one glyph card discarded by this effect. And our agenda, Flooded Archives. The massive tower promises enticing knowledge and forbidden truths. However, the imminent peril of navigating the ancient, crumbling structure comes into sharp focus as a chunk of obsidian crashes down to the flooded depths below. For all its grandeur, you are not safe here. Forced. When your turn begins, if your location is fully flooded, you struggle for air. When your turn ends, if you did not enter an unflooded or partially flooded location during your turn, take 5 direct damage. So before we go into that, let's talk about the flood tokens in case this is the first time you're seeing them. We've actually got 2 at locations here. So this is a partially flooded location. This is the way you tell that. This is a fully flooded location. So basically, starting at fully flooded is bad. Starting here is survivable. So we definitely need to make sure we get to we would need to make sure we get to a partially or unflooded location during the turn. Our act is Act 1A, Step of Giants. The halls and tall ceilings are divided into massive stacks, like the shelves of a library. There is so much you could learn here. As an action, spend 1 per investigator, aka 2 clues. Discard the top 5 cards of the encounter deck, 8 instead if there's only 1 investigator, but there are 2 in this game. Draw 1 glyph card discarded by this effect. Then, 1 at a time, draw each omen card discarded by this effect. Objective: after the Great Lift flips to its active side, immediately advance. So the Great Lift, we're going to take a look at that. It's on the inactive side. Shroud of 2 clues. Great Lift cannot move and is connected to the locations to the left and right of it, and vice versa. Forced: when the last clue is discovered from this location, flip the Great Lift, keeping all tokens and attachments. And I do want to make sure of one thing here. Okay, locations are not connected to one another except via the Great Lift, their connection icons, or certain card effects. So what we've got here, where we're at, is basically we're going to call this floor 1, floor 2, and so on. Okay, now, which I did look at that. So the other thing we need to do is our tarot reading for this scenario. So let's take a look at that and see what we've got here. So we'll take a look at our 2 cards. As I mentioned, I didn't do a formal upgrades video because there wasn't going to be much upgrade. It was all going to be standard fare. Nathaniel upgraded a Vicious Blow, and Lucius upgraded a Vicious Blow, or a Deduction. Our first tarot card is the Star 17. After an investigator reveals an Elder Sign token during a skill test, they may heal 1 damage or 1 horror on the good side. On the bad, after an investigator reveals a tentacle during a skill test, they must either take 1 damage or 1 horror. And we've got the Chariot 7. Each investigator begins the game with 2 additional cards in their opening hand. Or, on the bad side, each investigator begins the game with 2 fewer cards in their opening hand and can't draw cards during their first turn. Given that we're already starting down a card, I think the much less dangerous play is going to be to flip the Star 17. So after an investigator reveals a tentacle during a skill test, they either take 1 or 1. This will at least mitigate the hand penalty that we took from Lucius continuing to plumb the depths. So with that being said, we will make Nathaniel our lead investigator, and we'll draw 6 cards for opening hands. Let's give these a quick shuffle. Actually, we'll give the encounter deck a quick shuffle as well. There we go. All right, now we'll draw Lucius's opening hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll draw Lucius's opening hand while we're at it. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, Dreams of the Flood can go away for Lucius. Okay. Now, let's have a look. I'm not sure how many humanoids we're going to encounter, so I think Interrogate is probably a dead card. Let's see. A little Horror Soak wouldn't be bad. I think we'll take an If It Bleeds. I think we'll discard that. And we'll draw 2 cards. Not totally thrilled, but serviceable. As for Lucius's hand, let's see here. You know what? I think I'm pretty happy with this. So, with that being said, let's jump right into our first investigation phase of the game. So, taking a look here. I think our first order of business needs to be to get the clues. I think our first order of business needs to be starting to work on clues. So let's go ahead and have Lucius go first. For action 1, he is going to... I hate wasting a deduction on a Shroud 3, but it's easy progress on Plumb the Depths. He's at a 4, so he was only up 1 right now, but I think I will go ahead and use a deduction here to go up 3. Give the cast bag a shuffle. Up 3. Elder Thing is -4. If this token is revealed during an attack or evasion attempt, take 1 or 1. Gross. Action 2, we'll use Burning the Midnight Oil to investigate, gaining 2 resources. We're only up 1 this time. Skull is -X, where X is the number of glyphs in the victory display. That is 0, so Lucius will get a clue. And then action 3, he'll run it back. -1 gets him the last clue, also gets him an obsession off of Plumb the Depths. We'll just throw that in the trash. Let's see, is that a... So whoever's spending the clues has to have them. Okay. All right, that'll do it for Lucius. Let's see, Nathaniel, that's a Shroud of 2. Let's go with action 1. I don't necessarily want to move because I don't want to leave Lucius alone, but I think I will move over to the Great Lift. Action 2, he'll investigate it even. That's a tentacle touch, so he's got to take... So because of the star 17, he's got to take 1 or 1. I'll have him take a damage, mainly because he can put that on toe the line as well. Action 3, he's going to spend 4 resources to play out the Beat Cop. +1 combat, discard Beat Cop as a fast action, deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location, 2 and 2. So that'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, there are no enemies in play, so now we do upkeep. Nathaniel finds another Monster Slayer. I don't hate that. Lucius finds a Hyper Awareness. Okay. Mythos phase, we put our first Doom on the agenda. Nathaniel will draw. Cosmic Omen. Test Will 3. If the investigators have translated 10 or more glyphs, this test gets +2 difficulty. If you fail, you must either shuffle a glyph card into play from the encounter deck or take 1 direct horror and discard 1 card at random from your hand. Does he have anything that can help with Will? Well, he's even right now, so I'm going to commit something worth fighting for to go up 1. Rune is -2 if your location is flooded. Reveal another location. So we unfortunately do fail, which means we have to take a direct horror and discard a card at random. Oh, great. Okay, let's grab a... Let's see, that's not what I want. Oh, objects, here we go. Components, I'm going to spawn a D6. All right, we'll bring the D6 down here. 1 through 5, 6 is a reroll. That's a reroll. Card number 5. So we lose fighting lessons. Not the worst thing that could have happened. As for Lucius, he's drawing Ancient Vault. That's a glyph. Revelation. If this treachery is drawn from the encounter discard pile, attach it to your location. Otherwise, discard it and it gains Surge. I'm not going to worry about the victory, about the other text on there. Drawn to Darkness. Put Drawn to Darkness into play in your threat area. Limit 1 per investigator. Your maximum hand size is reduced by 3 to a minimum of 1. Forced when your turn ends if you have no cards in play, discard Drawn to Darkness. Or Drawn to Darkness. Move that over to the threat area. Okay. So that'll bring us into the investigation phase and me to taking a drink of my Crystal Light. Okay. Action 1 for Lucius. He is going to move over to the Great Lift. Action 2. He is going to spend his 2 clues to discard the top 5 of the encounter deck. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get the feeling this was a total whiff. Let's see. Omen, Winged Keeper, Terror, Hazard, and Pilgrim Leader. Yeah, that was a whiff. The only thing we get is an Omen card to go through. Testing Will 3. This was the same thing Nathaniel had. Unfortunately, Nathaniel is down, or Lucius is down 1. He's going to commit Eureka to get to even. Can Nathaniel give him anything to help with after that? Even's the best Lucius is going to get. Hey, a 0. So we duck the Cosmic Omen. More importantly, we get the top 3 of our deck to look at. 1, 2, 3. Ugh. Let's grab the Dream Diary. Then action 3, he will investigate the Great Lift. He's up also, okay, he's up 2. -1 gets him a clue. Now, the $1 million question is, does the location have to empty, or does he have to be the one to do it? He has to be the one to discover the last clue. Okay, so Nathaniel is going to have to sit tight on that clue then. Action 1 for Nathaniel. He is going to draw a card, so I can see if I can... Okay, boxing gloves, I don't hate that. Action 2, he'll take a resource. Action 3, he'll spend his resources to play out his boxing gloves, taking both hands, +1 combat while fighting. Fast action, after you defeat an enemy, exhaust boxing gloves. Search the top 6 cards of your deck for a spirit event and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Okay, so that'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, no enemies in play, but there are definitely enemies in this scenario. Nathaniel will do upkeep. He'll find Ruby Standish. +1 agility. Reaction, if there are no ready enemies at your location, exhaust Ruby to move to a connecting location. As for Lucius, he's drawing another forensic kit. Did I shuffle this? I did, okay. So we'll give that another quick shuffle. Second doom on the agenda. Nathaniel will find Cyclopean Architecture as a terror, testing lore, testing lore X, where X is your location's printed shroud. For each point you fail by, choose and discard 1 card from your hand to a max of 3. He had an unprecedented dream of great Cyclopean cities of Titan blocks and sky-flung monoliths. H.P. Lovecraft, The Call of Cthulhu. Let's see, lore here is 2. Or actually, shroud is 2. Nathaniel's even. Lucius is going to commit... He's going to commit a forensic kit to bring Nathaniel up 1. Yeah, up 1. Skull is a 0, so we get away with that one. As for Lucius, he's got a Winged Keeper. Spawn at the highest level with no investigators, which is going to be level 1. So it's going to spawn there, and it's looking for the lowest agility, so that is definitely after Nathaniel. 334, it's alert. So what alert means, for those of you who've never seen the keyword before, is if you fail an evasion attempt, against an enemy with alert, it attacks you. Retaliate is the same thing if you fail an attack against an enemy with retaliate. Forced, when the enemy phase begins, if this enemy is ready and unengaged, it moves to its prey's location. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so that will bring us into the investigation phase. Lucius is going to see if he can get that last clue off of the location. He is up 2 trying to get it. -1 will get the clue. Which, when the last clue is discovered from this location, flip the Great Lift, keeping all tokens and attachments. So that'll flip to its active side. When you successfully investigate this location, instead of discovering clues, slide Great Lift up or down once. You may spend 1 per investigator clues. Once again, that's 2. To slide Great Lift up or down 1 additional time. More importantly, we do advance the act. Okay. Tyrant Unleashed. Uh-oh. Ancient gears, unused for millennia, grind to life with a gut-wrenching sound. The lift shudders erratically as a massive creature claws its way up through one of the holes in the floor. It would appear this monstrosity resided on the underside of the lift, and you have awakened it. Spawn the set-aside Colossal Tyrant enemy at the Great Lift. Choose an investigator at the Great Lift to test Agility 3. If they succeed, exhaust the Colossal Tyrant. Let's see, here's the Colossal Tyrant. So that spawns at the Great Lift. 363, Massive. Oh, fun. Colossal Tyrant gets +3 per investigator health, so it's actually got 12 health and can't move. Forced. When the enemy phase ends, if there are no investigators at Colossal Tyrant's location, deal 1 direct horror to each card with sanity at each adjacent location. Victory 1, 2 health. This thing is going to chew through us quickly. Alright, let's see if we can evade it, though. That's an Agility 3. I'm going to have to give that test to... I'm definitely giving that test to Lucius. He is up... Well, he's going to be up 2. Yeah, up 2. It's not a traditional evasion test. So Lucius is up 2. Skull is still a 0, so it will enter exhausted. Okay, now back to our new act. Escape the Tower version 2. Your only hope is to find the relic, if you can, and get it and get out before the entire tower crumbles around you. As an action, if you are at the East Antechamber, resign. And we still have the same objective. We still have the same action on spending clues for glyphs. Objective: if each surviving investigator has resigned, advance. And the East Antechamber is... Wait a minute. Oh, East Antechamber is over here. Okay. Now that we've got that sorted out, so we've got 2 actions left. I think action 2 for Lucius is going to be to investigate. He is up. He's up 3, which Skull will work. So since we investigated instead of discovering clues, we're going to slide down once with the Great Lift. Action 3. So we do want to get down here to the East Antechamber. I don't want to go into the Winged Keeper, especially not leaving him defenseless. We'll have Lucius move over to the... where do I want to move him? Sorry, I don't mean to be yawning. Let's move him over to the Crumbling Archives on the west. That'll flip over to Luminous Archives, 6 clues. Forced. Shrouded 2, 6 clues. Forced. When the investigation phase ends, if there are clues on Luminous Archives, shuffle each glyph treachery attached to this location into the encounter deck. As 2 actions, search the encounter discard pile for a glyph card and draw it. Okay, action 3. I think I will have him investigate. Actually, choose a non-elite enemy at a revealed location up to 2 connections away. So unfortunately, let's see, that only if there are no investigators at its location. So I think Nathaniel is probably going to have to stay. do I have Nathaniel stay put? Because the problem with doing that is this is going to land on him anyway, and Nathaniel's going to take 3 and 1. I don't think I'm crazy about that idea. So I think Nathaniel for action 1 is going to move over to the Crumbling Archives to the east. That'll make friends. Ring Library, Shroud of 2, 4 clues. As an action, when you discard 1 or more cards from the top of the encounter deck, choose and discard 1 card from your hand. Discard 2 additional cards from the top of the encounter deck. As an action, we can move to a revealed passageway location. That was action 1. Action 2, Nathaniel is going to use Monster Slayer to try to kill this Winged Keeper. The attack deals +1 damage. Right now, he is at a 5, 6, 7 to 3. Nathaniel is up 4, trying to do native attack 2, 3 damage because of his special ability. That's a 0, so he manages to one-shot the Winged Keeper. That gets discarded, and then we'll exhaust the Boxing Gloves to search the encounter deck for the top 6 for a Spirit event. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, Randall's off limits. We can't take him. Emergency Cash is also off limits. We can't take him either. Everything else is... Okay, Interrogate's also off limits. So I'll move those back to the top of the deck. So the question I'm wondering about here is, do we have Nathaniel try to defeat the Colossal Tyrant by himself? He would need to do 12 damage to it. He's got both Vicious Blows available in his deck. I think the answer to that is yes, so I'm going to grab the 1-2 punch. And then action 3, he will move back over with the Colossal Tyrant. This way, it won't trigger. So that'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, the Colossal Tyrant is exhausted, and Nathaniel wiped out the Winged Keeper. So now we're doing upkeep. Nathaniel finds If It Bleeds. Okay, as for Lucius, he is finding Leo De Luca. He's got to discard something, though he's going to discard... Disguise. Because remember, his hand size is 5 due to Drawn to Darkness. Mythos phase, third Doom on the agenda. Nathaniel will draw Tortured Visions. As an action, Revelation, test Lore 3. This test gets +2 difficulty if you have 3 or fewer cards in hand. If you fail, take 1 direct horror and discard 1 card at random from your hand. Yikes. I think we're going to commit If It Bleeds to go up 1. Good thing we did that. I very much wanted to protect Nathaniel's hand. As for Lucius, still behind you. Revelation test Agility 2. This test gets +1 difficulty for each copy of Still Behind You in the victory display. If you fail and the Inescapable is in play, it moves 1 location at a time to your location and engages you. Is not in play, search all in and out of play areas for the Inescapable and draw it. Add it to the victory display. Okay, so he's up 3. -1, looks like it gets discarded. Yes. It's discarded. Okay. Now, that brings us into the investigation phase. For Lucius's first action, he's going to spend his 2 clues to go through the top 5 of the encounter deck. We're looking for a glyph. Jeez. Okay. Let's go for draw one glyph discarded. Okay, fortunately we didn't get any omens this time, so at least that's a whiff. We could get a Crypt Keeper, but I think Nathaniel, well, I was going to say, I think Nathaniel wants to work on the, and of course they're elite enemies too, so we can't use Ethereal Slip to give any of them the slip and use that to cheese moving around. Alright, so Crumbling Masonry's off limits, as is Drawn to Darkness. I think I'm going to take the Ruined Orrery. So that's a Lore 3 test. Which Lucius should have a few problems making, and for Action 2 he's going to take a shot at it. He is at Lore 3. Actually, Lore 3, he's at 4. He is going to commit... he's going to commit Forensic Kit to go up 2. Skull is a 0, so that goes... So I'm going to get my glyph record out for this campaign. I'm also keeping the glyph record for my group's Drowned City campaign, so I have to keep the two separate. Let's see, what does this look like? Looks like a squiggle. Filled in dot and a circle, and we record you collect. And that goes to the victory display. That was Action 2. Action 3 is going to be spending 5 resources to play out Homeboy Leo, which will give him an additional action. He will use that to start working on clues at this location. He is up... He's up 3. Actually, he's up 2. Which is a -2. That'll get him a clue. That'll do it for Lucius. Nathaniel is going to start working on this Tyrant. He is going to start off with a... Let's see, how much damage would we need to do? Well, 12, obviously. How much damage can he do is the question. Let's start with a Monster Slayer. He's at a 5, 6, 7 to 3. He's up 4, trying to do 3 damage. Right? Native 1, Monster Slayer 2, special ability 3. So yeah. Nathaniel is up 3. Elder Thing is a -4. If you fail, if this token is revealed during an attack or evasion attempt, take 1 or 1. Right? 5, 6, 7. Yep. Actually, 5, 6, 7 to 3, he was up 4, so he actually does pass. I thought he was up 3 for some reason. So he does take a damage. He's going to put that on Toe the Line. And he's going to do 3 damage to the Colossal Tyrant. Only 1, although I'm hoping to put more damage on this round. Let's see, he's going to... Action 2, he's going to run it back. Let's see, +1 combat for the attack. Yeah, we'll use 1-2 punch. So he is at 5, 6, 7, 8 to 3. He's up 5. A +1 will put another damage on him. And now he's going to fight again, getting +2 combat and dealing +1 damage for the attack. Nathaniel is renowned for his rapid left jab and right cross signature move. Well, time to show us what you got there, buddy. Committing Vicious Blow to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. to 3. He's up 7, trying to do 1, 2, 3 more damage, which he will do. Nicely done. So that'll put him up to 7 damage on the Colossal Tyrant. Then he's going to try to evade this thing. He doesn't want to take it. I don't want to have him take a 2 damage attack. So he's going to commit Daring, going up. So that's going to put him 2, 5 to 3. Nathaniel is up 2. But the problem here is the Colossal Tyrant for this test has Retaliate and Alert. So we need to pass this. A +1 will pass. That'll also draw Nathaniel a card. So let's see what he draws. A Safeguard, not that useful right now. Anyway, that will do it for Nathaniel. That'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, the Colossal Tyrant is still there. So now we do upkeep. Actually, Nathaniel doesn't trigger the Colossal... Nathaniel makes sure the Colossal Tyrant doesn't trigger. So now we are doing upkeep. We've got Fighting Lessons that can be committed to a skill test during an attack or evasion attempt. You can commit it to an investigator's test at any location. As for Lucius, he's drawing another Hyper Awareness. Colossal Tyrant also wakes up and makes friends with Nathaniel. 4th Doom on the agenda for the Mythos phase. Nathaniel will draw Cthulhu Fatagan. As an action, test Combat 3. If you fail, you must either take 2 horror or deal 1 direct damage to an investigator at your location. Well, he is a 6 to 3. He's up 3. Skull is now a -1 because that's the number of glyphs we have there. So Nathaniel's clear. Lucius is drawing the same thing. He, unfortunately, is down 2. Gross. And he doesn't even have any combat to commit to that. I don't think his Elder Sign even saves him either. No, it doesn't. +1 won't do it, so he either has to take 2 horror or deal 1 direct damage to an investigator at his location. He will take the direct damage. Okay, so... I think Lucius is just going to keep working on clues at this point. Action 1, investigating. He's up 3. Actually, he's up 2. Elder Sign is +1 for each enemy at your location, which is a 0, so nothing there. Then we'll spend the 2 clues for another glyph. 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, our only glyph is the Court Keeper, because of course it is. Fortunately, it's also our own. Fortunately, we didn't draw any omens either, so that's something, I guess. What the? I didn't just. Oh, I did flip over the whole deck. Well, good thing I'm going to be shuffling the deck anyway. Oh, no, discard. 2, 3, 4. I will give the deck a shuffle anyway because I saw the bottom card of it. We've got the Court Keeper that makes friends with Lucius. Let's see, he's up 2 trying to evade it, so I think that's what he's going to do. A tablet is -2. If your location is flooded, reveal another token. Fortunately, that evades it, but it doesn't trigger the... If there's a... Okay. Then action 3. Lucius is going to... He can probably keep this thing evaded while working on it. So he's going to look for... He's going to grab another clue. He's up 2. That's a 0 for another clue. And that'll do it for Lucius. Nathaniel is going to start by... Yowza. Maybe just punch, evade, try to kill this thing. That could be a decent plan. I think that's what we're going to go with anyway. So 5, 6, 7 to 3. Nathaniel is up 4. That's a -2. That'll put another damage on the Tyrant. Action 2, run it back. Put another damage on it. Action 3, try to evade, committing Ruby. So that'll put him up 1, trying to evade. That's a 0, so we evade. That's it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, no enemies to worry about. So we do upkeep. Nathaniel finds another set of boxing gloves, which he doesn't need. Lucius draws. Dr. Milan, a little late to the party. The Court Keeper comes back, makes friends with Lucius. The Colossal Tyrant wakes up to make friends with Milan. Mythos phase, 5th Doom on the agenda. Nathaniel finding a Cosmic Omen, another Will 3. He's even. He'll commit Safeguard to go up 1. That's a -2, so he still fails. Either shuffle 1 glyph card into play into the encounter deck, or take a direct horror and discard 1 card at random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 5, so we get rid of the boxing gloves. I'm not that heartbroken about that. Oppressive power. Oppressive influence, I should say. Revelation, test Will X, where X is your location's printed shroud. If you fail, take 2 horror. I have looked upon all the universe has to hold of horror, and even the skies of spring and flowers of summer must ever afterward be poison to me. H.P. Lovecraft, The Call of Cthulhu. Currently, Lucius is at the Luminous Archives, which is a shroud of 2. He's even. I will use Ethereal Slip to go up 1. That's a 0, so we get there. Okay. Investigation phase coming up next. Just checking on everything going on here. I want to make sure everything's quiet. Yep. Let's see. Nathaniel could kill the Colossal Tyrant this turn and have an action left. Let's see if we can do that. Action 1, 5, 6, 7 to 3. He's up 4. +1 puts another damage. Action 2, he'll run it back. -1 puts a damage. He'll discard the Beat Cop for the last damage on the Colossal Tyrant. That will go to the victory display. Yep. Fortunately, the Colossal Tyrant is not a glyph, so I don't have to worry about that making some of these tests more difficult. Then action 3, he'll move over to the Luminous Archive so he can help Lucius out with his friend. Action 1 for Lucius, he's going to evade the Court Keeper. He is up 2. Skull is -1, so he does evade. So he doesn't have Prey, so I can have that make friends with Nathaniel, and I might. Action 2, he will investigate. He's up 2. Actually, before we do that, he's going to play out Homeboy Milan. +1 lore. After you successfully investigate, gain a resource. While I truly pray that this nightmare is just a singular abomination, I must admit that I am exhilarated by the possibility that this is but one specimen of a new genus. 1 and 2. Actually, wait. Lucius doesn't have a charisma. I thought he did, but he doesn't. So I don't want to discard Milan. I think I'd rather have the extra action. So he is just going to investigate. He's up 2. Tentacle Touch, so he's got to take a damage. Action 3, he'll run it back. Rune is -4. We didn't reveal during an attack or evasion. Action 4, once again, he'll run it back. +1 gets him a clue. Okay. All right, that'll do it for Lucius. That'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, the Court Keeper's our only friend, so now we're doing upkeep. Glory for Nathaniel. Play after you defeat an enemy to draw 2 cards. And Lucius will draw a Fox Mask. Wise Trickster. Limit 1 mask per location. 2 offerings. Replenish 1 of them after you move out of a location with an enemy. As a fast action, spend an offering. You get +2 lore or +2 agility for this skill test. We are advancing. We are advancing the agenda. Okay. All right, Relay Rising. As supernatural winds howl outside, the tower groans and sways like an ancient tree weathering a storm. You steady yourself against a pillar, hoping to wait out the tremor. Suddenly, you feel the pillar loosen. Stepping away, you watch the intricately carved pillar tumble down to the bottom far below. You pause, waiting to hear a splash, but there is none. The city continues to rise like a long-dead corpse from the sea depths. Decrease the flood level of each location. Shuffle each omen and glyph card in the encounter discard pile back into the deck. So we're decreasing the flood level of these. Let's see. I think when you decrease the flood level, I want to double check, but I think when you decrease the flood level of a partially flooded, or can you decrease it below an unflooded? Okay, if a location becomes unflooded, so the 2 partially flooded on level 3 do become unflooded. I wasn't sure about that, but I wanted to make sure. Okay, so shuffle each omen and glyph back into the deck. That's an omen. That is not. Neither is that. That is not. No. 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 Yes. No. 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 Yes, that's a glyph. And yes. Okay. Our new act. Unstable foundations. The tower groans as Relay continues its slow ascent from the depths of the ocean. During the enemy phase, each location is considered to be connected to the location above and below it. Forced, after the Great Lift moves, each investigator at the Great Lift must test Agility 2. Each investigator who fails takes 1 damage. Also, I'm going to give the Glyph Keeper to the Court Keeper to Nathaniel with the plan of having him kill it this round, or start on it. Nathaniel finds Cosmic Omen. And we've got, so he's down 1. Actually, he's even. Lucius will give him Dream Diary to put him up 1. That's a 0, so we get there. Lucius will find the same thing. He is down 1, and he's got nothing to help with it. Neither does Nathaniel. A 0 means he still has to take a direct horror and discard 1 card at random from his hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are rerolls. That's a reroll. Hyper awareness. Okay. Sorry, I'm still a little out of it this morning. Let's see. That's still a 3-4-3. So I think we'll have Nathaniel start working on him. 5, 6 to 3. He's up 3 for action 1. -1 does a damage. Action 2 will run it back. That's a -1 for another damage. I shouldn't have had 2 on it. Action 3, he'll try to evade. And he'll use fighting lessons to go up 1. That's a -2, so we fail. Fortunately, it's not alert, so that's something anyway. Action 1, Lucius is going to spend his clues looking for another glyph. Right? Yes. 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is problematic. So we whiff on glyphs. Oops, discarded Phoenix. I never can remember that. But we've got 2 cosmic omens to deal with. Okay, he is down 1 on both of these. That's a +1, so we survived the first one. How about the second? Nope, and we have to take a damage or a horror. He will take the damage. And then he's got to discard a card at random. Let's see. Okay, so right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that loses us Fox Mask. Action 2. I'll play out a Hyper Awareness, which is basically a resource dump for lore and agility tests. Action 3. Let's investigate up 2. All right, there's a -2. And action 4, investigate again up 2. Hey, we got there. And to make matters better, we get an obsession off of Plumb the Depths. All right, that'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, Nathaniel is getting hit for 1 and 1. 1 of the damage will go on Toe the Line. And now we are doing upkeep. There's Greta, a little late to the party, but probably usable. As for Lucius, he's finding a Eureka. First doom on the new agenda, Nathaniel will find another Court Keeper. Oh, fantastic. Lucius will find Elder Mist. Oh, great. Okay, so this is a problem. This is Whippoorwill for this campaign. Each investigator at attached location gets -1 to all skills, but forced. After an investigator succeeds at a skill test by 2 or more, discard Elder Mist. Okay, so that'll bring us into the investigation phase. Nathaniel's going to start by continuing to chip away at this Court Keeper. He is up, let's see, he's at 5, 6, he's up 3. Skull is a -1. Action 2, he'll run it back, knocking this one out, but before he goes, there's something I get to translate. So it's got a little swirl, something like that. That is dreams. And then that one will go to the victory display. As for Nathaniel, actually, before he does anything else, he's going to spend a resource to play Glory after you defeat an enemy to draw 2 cards. Ding, ding, ding! Mirror and Randall. Okay, action 3, he's going to start working on this Court Keeper as well. He's up 3. That's a 0, so that's a damage on the Court Keeper. Oop. Actually, he would have been up 2. The 0 would have succeeded that, so he does discard Elder Mist. Okay, Lucius will take the, for action 1, he'll take the Court Keeper off of Nathaniel. Action 2, he'll evade up 2. That'll evade. Action 3. over to the Great Lift. And that only triggers when the Great Lift moves, not when he moves, right? After the Great Lift moves. So he'll move over to the east, the Ring Library. All right. And we can use that to move to a passageway. That'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, the only relevant enemy has been evaded. So now we do upkeep. Oh, fantastic. Now's not the time to draw Tommy Malloy. Pray Nathaniel show only Hunter. Forced. When Tommy Malloy would take any amount of damage, reduce that amount to 1. Lucius is drawing Intel Report. Discover a clue at your location. When you play Intel Report, increase its cost by 2. Change Discover 1 clue to 2. Increase it again by 2. Change Add your location to add a location up to 2 connections away. Mythos phase gets our second Doom. Nathaniel will draw Corrosive Fog. Also, this makes friends with him again. Testing Lore or Combat 4. If you fail, take 1 damage. If you fail, instead deal 1 direct damage to your investigator and each ally and item asset you control with health. He's going to test Combat. He's up 1. That's a -1. Lucius is drawing Crumbling Masonry. Testing Agility, X, where X is your location's shroud. If you fail, take 2 damage. He said that the geometry of the dream place he saw was abnormal, non-Euclidean, and loathsomely redolent of spheres and dimensions apart from ours. H.P. Lovecraft, The Call of Cthulhu. He is at the Ring Library, which is a shroud of 2. Lucius is up 3. That's a -1, so we're clear of that. Well, I think Lucius is going to need to come in and take some damage. What do I want to... How do I want to do that, though? I think if we go Action 1, Action 2... Action 3, take the Court Keeper... And Action 4, evade up 2. That'll work. Because Nathaniel has got to start the punchy. Unfortunately, it takes him all of his actions. So Action 1, Nathaniel is at a 6 to 2. He's up 4. Elder Sign is +1. If the skill test is successful during an attack, and it is, return an event from your discard pile to your hand. So return an event. The question is which, not from my deck. The question is which event do I want? I think I want a Monster Slayer, especially if I'm going to be using that to try to deal with the Crypt of the Court Keeper. Action 2 will run it back. A 0 puts another damage on Tommy. Action 3, one more time for the kids in back. -2 still kills Tommy. So that'll defeat him. And we'll exhaust Boxing Gloves to search the top 6 of our deck for a Spirit event. Which probably is going to mean second... No, it's not going to mean Second Wind, I don't think. It could mean 1-2 Punch just as easily, and it very well might. Yeah, it's going to mean 1-2 Punch. Okay. That'll do it for Nathaniel. That'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, the Court Keepers are only currently evaded enemies, so now we're doing upkeep. Alright, Nathaniel on upkeep is drawing a counterpunch. Okay, I don't hate that. That'll come back to his threat area. Lucius is drawing a deduction. Mythos phase, we get our first Doom on the agenda. Tommy is drawing an Ancient Vault. Unfortunately, we have to discard it and it gains Surge because we drew it from the encounter deck. All right, Cyclopean architecture. Test lore X, where X is our location's printed shroud. Right now it's a 2, so we are even. Of course, that's a tentacle touch, so for each point we fail by, we'll take a damage, and I'll put that on toe the line. We also have to choose and discard a card from our hand to a maximum of 3. Ugh. Let's go 1, 2. Gross. Three. I'm not happy about it, but it's got to be that way. As for Lucius, domination. Oh, fantastic. We either place a doom on the current agenda with the Ancient Evils clause, discard 2 cards from the hand, or lose an action. I think he's going to put a doom on the agenda. Yowza. Things are starting to get a little bit on the rough side, but not terrible yet. That might not last long, though. Okay. For action 1, Nathaniel is going to initiate a play action. He's planning to play Greta Wagner, but he's going to take an attack of opportunity first. So he'll take 1 and 1 from the Court Keeper. We need to be very careful about that. We'll put a damage on the toe of the line. The reason I'm doing that is so I can trigger a counterpunch. Fight attacking targeting the attacking enemy. So I don't have Greta in play yet because so the way the timing works is I initiate the action, the attack of opportunity happens, then I respond to the attack, which I'm doing with counterpunch. I'm targeting the attacking enemy, 5, 6 for the boxing gloves to 3, I'm up 3. A +1 is going to do 2 damage to it because I'm using Nathaniel's special ability. Counterpunch goes to my graveyard, and now I complete the play action to play out Greta Wagner. +1 combat. After you defeat an enemy, exhaust Greta and deal 1 damage to her. Discover 1 clue at your location. With iron and salt, with water and fire. Action 2, he'll run that back. Nathaniel is at a 7 to 3. He's up 4. Skull is currently -2, I think. Yes. Skull is currently -2, so that is still plenty to defeat the Court Keeper. Defeat a second Court Keeper. So we're going to translate another glyph. It's a swirl. About like so, with a dot in the middle. And we record sleep. That moves to the victory display. And action 3, Nathaniel is going to move over to the Great Lift. Lucius for action 1 is going to move over to the Great Lift. Action 2, he's going to discard 2 clues to go 5 into the encounter deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That will attach the Ancient Vault to our location. Is drawn from the discard pile attached to your location. So yeah, that'll get attached to the Great Lift. And I don't think we have any omens. The encounter deck is going to reshuffle when we draw in the Mythos phase. Action 2, does he have any will he can commit to help with this? He's going to use Eureka to get to even to try to discover this ancient glyph. Nathaniel will give him Monster Slayer to put him up 1. Hey, that's a 0. So we discover another glyph. This one is one I'm going to be very bad at drawing, most likely. Let's see, a little curve like that with a circle. That's a reverse. That's probably a curved L. Where this one looks like a J, actually, at a slightly weird angle. That is life. That will go to the victory display. And now we draw 3. Now we look at the top 3 of our deck. Draw 1 and search the top 3 for a card. Draw it and shuffle. 2. Ooh. Couple of quick thinking. I'm going to take a quick thinking. I've got plenty of resources at this point. I don't need to play blackjack. I mean, don't get me wrong. I won't say no to playing blackjack, but I don't need to right now. What I will do, though, is I will spend 4 resources. Actually, how many do I have to cancel? I have to make this. I have to make this cost 6 to play Intel Report. So I'm discovering 2 clues at a location up to 2 connections away. So that'll be 1. Oh, come on. 1, 2. And that's coming off of the ring library. Then for action 4, I will have Lucius move in to the ring library. That way I can continue working on Plumb the Depths. That'll do it for Lucius. That'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, no enemies in play, so now we're doing upkeep. Second win for Nathaniel, as he is hellbent right now. He's out of cards in hand. Lucius will draw his other quick thinking anyway. Okay. Mythos phase, our third doom. Nathaniel is finding Cosmic Omen again. Fantastic. He is even. I'm going to commit Spirit Wind, or Second Wind, to go up 1. Mostly so I can avoid the horror. Unfortunately, the Elder Sign is not coming out during an attack. So I can't return an event, but I will succeed with Omen of Power. As for Lucius, still behind you. Agility 2, he is up. You know what? I'm going to commit a quick thinking to this to go up. So that's 5. So we're at 5, 6. Quick thinking is going to put me up 4. And I'm going to spend a resource to go up 6 so I can take an action as if it were my turn. A 0. Okay, so that gets discarded, and Lucius gets to take an action as if it were his turn. He is going to investigate. He's currently at a shroud. He's currently at 4 to 2. He'll spend a resource to make it 5 to 2. He's up 3. Elder Sign is +1 for each enemy here, which there are none. So that'll give him a clue. Let's see, and that would be discard 2 additional cards. Discard a card to discard 2 more. Okay. All right, so that was Mythos phase. And before we jump into our next investigation phase, I need to get up and stretch my legs. So I'll be right back. You probably heard me as I was grumbling in the background, just having another lightheaded spell from sitting too long. At some point, I probably do need to get that checked out, but I just haven't had time to do anything with it. Although, yeah, I know I'm kind of dancing around the issue, but yeah, I need to deal with that. Okay, action. We'll move over to Lucius again as we refocus here. Action 1, he's going to commit quick thinking to another investigate action. So he's at 5 to 2. He's up 3. Tentacle touched. Joy. He will take a damage, I guess. Action 2, he'll run the investigate back. 0 gets him a clue this time. All right. Action 3. That also gets him an obsession off Plumb the Void. Action 3, he'll spend 2 more clues to discard the top 5 of the encounter deck for a glyph. 2, 3, 4, and 5 total whiff, but no omens. That's about the only thing I can say there. Let's see, I could dump 2 additional from the top of the deck, so I think action 3 I will. And I'll discard Milan. That'll give me an additional 2 cards off the encounter deck for a total of 7. This could be dangerous, though, because remember, I do have to draw any omens that I draw when I discard this. 6, 7. Which, fortunately, we did find a glyph. And no omens, so that will get attached to the ring library. This time we have to test combat 3. If we succeed, well, I'm not going to spoil what the glyph's going to be, but we'll see if, let's see, that was action 4. So yeah, Lucius is done. Nathaniel will come over for action 1 as Lucius called out for help. Action 2, Nathaniel is at a 6 to 3. He's up 3 trying to discover this glyph. Which rune is -2 if your location is flooded, reveal another token, which it's not. So Lucius will succeed. We still need to get down, though. But that'll give me this glyph. Let's see. So looking slight diagonal like so. And that translates to Cthulhu. That'll get added to the victory display. Okay, so that was action 2. Action 3, Nathaniel will move back over to the Great Lift. We need to get moving here. That'll do it for the investigation phase. No enemies in play, so we're doing upkeep. Vicious Blow level 2, which is very welcome. So we'll take a look at this for anybody who has never seen this card before. 2 combat on commit. If the skill test is successful during an attack, deals +1 damage, +2 instead if the attack succeeds by 2 or more. Lucius. Now we'll draw a 21 or bust. Excuse me. Mythos phase, 4th Doom on the agenda. Nathaniel now has his own Drawn to Darkness. Lucius. Tortured Visions, test will 3, and we do have 2 or fewer cards in hand. If you fail, take 1 direct horror and discard 1 card at random from your hand. He's at that's a 5 test, so he's down 3. Elder Thing is -4, not during an evasion, so we take a direct horror and discard a card at random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 loses us deduction. Okay. Now, that brings us to the investigation phase. For action 1, Lucius is going to move over to the Great Lift. Action 2. We spend 2 clues, which we don't have the 2 clues. He's going to investigate. He's at a 4 to 2. He's up 2. All right, that's a -1, so we're moving the Great Lift. But we've got to trigger the Forced on here. Each investigator at the Great Lift has to test Agility 2. Lucius made the move, so he will test first. He's up 3. He'll pass easily. Nathaniel is at even, though. He will also pass. Let's see. That was 1. Action 2, he's going to move over to the crumbling archives. Oop. Lofty walkway, shroud of 5, 2 clues. Oh, yikes. Okay, when this location is revealed, spawn the set-aside star spawn observer at this location. Move to a revealed passageway location. Right now, this is actually a shroud of 3, 4. Actually, right now it's a shroud of just don't pull the frickin' tentacle. Star spawn observer. Alright, fortunately, it's aloof, but it is a hunter. Prey highest lore, so it's looking at... it's actually looking for Lucius. Forced when you reveal an Elder Thing token while investigating the Star Spawn Observer's location, it engages and makes an immediate attack. Now, Lucius's special ability... never mind. Let's see. So right now it's a shroud of don't pull the tentacle. So let's try our luck. Not the tentacle. And still not the tentacle. And our location is not flooded. That's an obsession off of Plumb the Depths. That's also it for Lucius's turn. Nathaniel could come in and try to kill this thing, actually. The question is, does he want to? Yes, actually we are going to. That way I can at least get rid of Nathaniel's Drawn to Darkness. So action 1, he's going to move into the lofty walkway. Action 2, he'll make friends with a star spawn. Action 3, he's going to attack it using Vicious Blow. He's at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. To 4, he's up 5. He would be doing 3 damage if he succeeds. If he succeeds by enough, and he does. So that'll be 3 damage on the Star Spawn Observer. That'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, Nathaniel will take 1 and 1 from the Star Spawn Observer. He's probably going to have to start having Greta soak some of the horror. But he will do, actually at the end of his turn, when he has no cards in hand, he didn't. So he will discard Drawn to Darkness. Alright, the Star Spawn Observer goes right back to being aloof. Now that we're moving in to the upkeep phase. Nathaniel draws a Daring. Lucius still has cards in hand, though. He's drawing lockpicks. 5th Doom on the agenda, and we need 8 to advance. Nathaniel will draw another Cosmic Omen, testing Will 3, which fortunately we've translated a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 glyphs. I probably should have started this earlier, but I'm going to keep a running total in chat so I know what my current glyph total is. 5 glyphs, so we don't have the +2 difficulty. He's even. Unfortunately, he's also alone. Skull is definitely a -5, so that's another reason I need to keep an eye on the number of glyphs in the victory display. That loses Nathaniel Daring. Lucius finds still behind you. He's up 3. That's a +1, so still behind you can go away. Okay. Now, Nathaniel's going to try to finish this thing off. Action 1, he'll make friends with a star spawn. Action 2, he'll attack. Skull is a -5. He was at 5, 6, 7 to 4, up 3. So the skull does not succeed. Action 3, he'll run the attack back. That will get rid of the Star Spawn Observer. And that's it for Nathaniel. Lucius is going to spend the 2 clues for another glyph. Although we're probably just whiffing on glyphs at this point. Yeah, now I think we're going to subscribe. Now I think we're going to get on the Gitfo plan. Thankfully, those aren't omens. That was action 1. Action 2. He's going to move to the Great Lift. Action 3 over to this Crumbling Archives. Shroud of 3, 4 clues. Okay. And action 4. He's going to start investigating. He's at 4 to 3. He's up 1. Actually, we're going to make it 5 to 3 up 2. That's a -4, so we fail that. We might have to just give that up for lost. That'll do it for Lucius. That'll do it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, no enemies in play, so now we're doing upkeep. That's an interrogate for Nathaniel. Very much a dead card in this scenario. As for Lucius, he's drawing an occult lexicon, a little late to the party. 6 doom on the agenda. Nathaniel will draw. A Winged Keeper. Alert, spawn at the highest level with no investigators, so fortunately that goes up to level 1. Lucius is finding Cosmic Omen. We have a not translated 10 or more glyphs, because that's our current running total of 5. So Lucius is down 1, unless I want to commit, which I can't. Elder Sign is +0, actually. So he does fail, taking a direct horror and discarding a card at random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 1, so we're losing lockpicks. Okay, I don't hate that. Investigation phase. I think I'm going to have Nathaniel go first because I want to move the Great Lift. That means Lucius needs to move Lucius needs to go second this round. So Nathaniel's going to move into the Great Lift. Action 2, he's going to draw a card. Action 3, he's going to draw a card. Lucius is going to move into the Great Lift without the clue. Then he's going to investigate up 2. That's a +1, so we will move the Great Lift, but both of us are going to have to test. Lucius is up 3. He will pass. Nathaniel is even. He will have to take a damage. He is 1 damage from defeated by damage and toe the line. And we had to discard the Hallowed Mirror earlier. Actually, that was action 2. Action 3, he's going to move over to the East Antechamber. That's where we need to be to resign anyway. I think, yes. Shroud of 3, 2 clues. During your turn, investigators at this location spend 1 per investigator clues as a group to slide the Great Lift down once. 2 per if the location is flooded, which it is actually partially flooded, so 4 clues. Action 4, he's up 1. Actually, he's up 2. Skull is a -5, so we make a mess of that. That's it for the investigation phase. Enemy phase, actually, the enemy phase begins, moves to its praised location. That is the... That is actually lowest agility, which is Nathaniel. So Nathaniel will take 1 and 1. He's going to put that on Greta because he can't take 1 and 1 right now. And we're doing upkeep. Another emergency cache for Nathaniel. For Lucius, we find a disguise. 7th Doom on the agenda. Nathaniel might be biting it here. 2's across the board for the Pilgrim Acolyte. After it attacks, place 1 Doom on it. The Great Old Ones spoke to the sensitive among them by molding their dreams. H.P. Lovecraft, The Call of Cthulhu. fantastic. As for Lucius, oppressive influence, testing will X, where X is your location's printed shroud. If you fail, take 2 horror. This is a problem, because if this goes off, Lucius is at 3. He is down 1 right now. He also has no will to commit to this, so this is a problem. And that's going to be 2 horror that he'd have to take. And that's a rune. So that means Lucius is going to take 2 horror from that. He'll be defeated by sanity. Actually, no. He's going to put that on Leo. So bye-bye, Leo. The extra action was very useful, but we can't make use of it anymore. Let's see here. Let's see. We could put the... We do have a humanoid. Choose a humanoid at your location and test combat 3. Gets plus X difficulty. The question is, am I willing to sacrifice Nathaniel to do this? And I think would I be willing to sacrifice Nathaniel? And I think the answer to that is no. So the problem is, I think Nathaniel is probably just going to be defeated here by damage anyway. So I don't think there's any way to get around that, because I don't have any of the big tools that Nathaniel would need to deal with some of these enemies. I'd be sacrificing Nathaniel so Lucius can make a progress on Plumb the Depths. Yeah, I think that's probably the best outcome I'm going to get here. Action 1, Nathaniel is going to play Interrogate, choosing a humanoid enemy and testing combat 3 plus X difficulty, where X is the enemy's damage value, which the Pilgrim Acolyte is a 1 damage, so this is going to be a combat 4. Nathaniel is up 2. He doesn't get the boxing gloves because he's not fighting, which a +1 will give him a clue from the East Antechamber. Action 2, he is going to... Actually, we might... Yeah, we're going to have to punch the... Yeah, we're going to have to sacrifice... I think we're going to have to sacrifice Nathaniel to do this. And Lucius has to be the one to pull the last clue off the East Antechamber. So Action 2, he's going to fight the Pilgrim Acolyte. Yeah. He's at 7 to 2. He's up 5. Skull is -5, so that's a damage on the Pilgrim Acolyte. And Action 3, he'll run it back. That'll take out the Pilgrim Acolyte. Lucius is going to start by trying to discover the last clue at the location. Actually, we probably... How thin is his deck right now? Actually, we're gonna lose the agenda anyway this round, so we're gonna be defeated anyway. Let's see just how bad it's gonna be. Action 1. I don't think there's any way I can save Nathaniel right now. I'd have to play Lexicon, move over there. Technically, he could take the hit. So let's at least have both of us survive, I guess. So yeah, we'll do it that way. I'd rather not make our trauma problems worse, especially since Lucius already took. Especially since Lucius already had to take a mental trauma from his Plumb the Depths story anyway. Actually, let's do it this way. He's going to investigate there. I want to see if I can at least get progress on Plumb the Depths. So he's at 4, 5, 6, 7 to 3. He's up 4. That's a -1, so we will get progress on. So we'll get the last clue off the location and the last obsession off of Plumb the Depths. Action 2, he'll move over to the Great Lift. And action 3, he's going to take the Winged Keeper off of Nathaniel. Lucius will take the bullet for his boxing buddy Nathaniel. During the enemy phase, he will take 1 and 1. Trying to avoid making the trauma problem worse, because Lucius will take the hit, but he will survive. And then that'll bring us to upkeep phase. Nathaniel finding something worth fighting for. Lucius finding another copy of Dream Diary, but we are advancing the agenda. Okay. Unspeakable Knowledge. The tower shudders as all of Relay continues to ascend. Ancient symbols on the court walls flash with blinding bright intensity. I don't know who QC'd this. In your momentary blindness, you catch glimpses of blasphemous, hulking shapes of ancient creatures on what looks like a familiar black-sanded beach. An emerald sun reflects on oily black water of a distant alien shore. Every fiber of your being screams in protest as the sheer volume of history within the tower surges into your pitifully small mind all at once. Before you know it, you collapse on the stone floor and slip into a dark and restless slumber. Each investigator who has not resigned is defeated and suffers 1 mental trauma. So that'll give Nathaniel a mental trauma, and Lucius his second, which also puts Lucius up to 3 trauma. Okay, we get to mark a progress on Plumb the Depths for Lucius. Excuse me. But we also go to... there should be a resolution here for no resolution was reached. Yep. Okay, so... if no resolution was reached, each investigator was defeated. The rest of the expedition tell you they found you standing at the edge of the towering climb as if sleepwalking. You rub your eyes. You have no memory of the alien court, and given that it has almost entirely collapsed, you never will. Update your campaign log. Cross out Court of the Ancients on the Relay map. If the shard of you collect, which it was not, was under the control of an investigator, which it was not, each investigator earns experience. Oh, and I forgot about the expedition items. Fortunately, that's a May, so I'm not going to worry about that now. We'll just pretend we just didn't do it. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. This will probably necessitate a full upgrades video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. That will necessitate a full upgrades video at some point. Actually, we had another... we spent our 2 experience. Our last 2 experience. So now we have 7 more experience to play with. If the expedition, check your campaign log. We headed east, so we're going to the Grand Vault next week. And where are my notes in here? Here we go. So the Grand Vault... will be up on 125. Assuming I decide to continue the campaign, because we did just take Lucius's third trauma, and that's when I normally start triggering the house rule. In fact, what does that put him at? So 1 and 2 would put him at 7 and 4. This is dealing a lot. This campaign is dealing a lot of sanity damage. 9 and 6 puts Nathaniel at 7 and 5. I'll give it some thought what I want to do. By the time... I think I'll make the call on Saturday when I'm going to continue the campaign. So I think by the time I close out Saturday's block in my 2001 season replay and payoff pitch, I know what we're going to be doing, because I'm going to get a little bit candid with you guys and tell you a bit about what's going on in my mind. If you remember during Pino with Phoenix last year, one of my goals for this year is I want to solve the football conflict in my replay library and my channel. And the way I'm going to ultimately do that is to put all of my football games on the channel. Here's the thing I'm thinking about. If I wrap the winter campaign early, then that means next week, instead of going to the Court of the Ancients, I can actually put a football game on the channel so I can start dealing with that goal. Whereas, and honestly, if we take another trauma in this campaign, I'd probably wrap it at that point anyway, especially if Lucius takes another mental trauma, because that would put him down to, that would give him 3 trauma and that would cut his starting sanity in half. And given that this campaign is doing a lot of sanity damage, we'd run through that very quickly. So I'm going to give that a little bit of thought on what I want to do with that. I'm thinking if you put a gun to my head and made me make the call now, I think I'd probably wrap this campaign early and start with football and start with dealing with my football test. Start dealing with my football testing. But like I said, I'm going to give that a little bit more time to do that. Next week will either be the Grand Vault and the Winter Campaign, or we'll have a football game back in the game room. Like I said, I'll make that call on Saturday. As for what else is coming up on the channel, later today here on my channel, we're going to be at Pac Bell Park in San Francisco, California, continuing the 2001 season replay and payoff pitch baseball as the Colorado Rockies are taking on the San Francisco Giants. Denny Nagel is on the hill for the Rockies against Russ Ortiz for the Giants. Later tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, I will be live on Jester's channel as we continue our top 100 board games of all time countdown. We will be counting down from 90 to 81 later tonight. Wednesday will also be continuing the 2001 payoff pitch baseball season replay, but I will have more on that during the 7th inning stretch of tomorrow night's game. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.